everybody. Welcome to Lunch and Level Up with me, Mandi Woodruff-Santos. I am the host of the Brand Ambition podcast. I am a career coach. I've been doing coaching for 4 years now, which is wild to me. And this is new. This is my second Lunch and Level Up in the way that I really want to say lunch and learn every time. And I came up with the name myself, so I only have myself to blame. But it's Lunch and Level Up because I've never done this before. I mean, I haven't done this since, gosh, when I first started to do coaching, I offered free sessions on my IG. And my microphone is all the way over here. Hello. Is that better? Sorry. I got excited. Gosh, I started doing free sessions back in 2021. Raye, were you one of those free sessions?
I was.
Stop. Wow. Look at us now. And look at her just showing up for my freebies every time because we are back. At the time, though, I had 200 people sign up to the Google form on IG for free sessions. I think 100 of them actually ended up booking. And then for the next 6 months, I was doing those free sessions. And I'm so glad that, I did that. And it was my way of figuring out, like, do I even like this? Am I even good at this? And it kicked off my whole business. And one of the things that happens when you're like, listen up, kids. And Raye, because you got a baby girl. One of the things that happens when you go and have a baby or two, and then you have a business and you're trying to work on a book and run a coaching community is that you don't have as much time to do one-on-one sessions anymore. One, it's not like, and every business, like literally every business coach will tell me, don't do free sessions. What are you doing? You shouldn't even be trying to do one-on-ones anymore. It should all be scalable, scale. And I'm all for the scaling, but I'm also all for staying in tune with what y'all are going through in your work lives. Raye, I feel like you have evolved so much since you first joined the Mandi Moneymakers in 2021, 22. And I'm so proud of you. And it just is, I'm glad that you were so quick on the sign up button for this free session.
Me too. I needed your advice because you're amazing. And I am actively
Likewise.
going through something. So I'm like, I'm taking advantage right now. Sign me up.
All right. Okay. So, I mean, just to catch everybody up on Raye, from what I'll tell you what I know, which is that when you joined, you were working for a big retailer, and you weren't a recruiter, but you were like tangential to the recruiting. You worked in like the software side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then
Mm-hmm.
gotcha, and then you joined the makers, and you wanted to actually get into a
Level up.
recruiting level on up, which you did. And then was that the job where you got first of all, you got into a
Yeah.
recruiting opportunity and then you got the big raise at that time.
So actually, let's back up a bit, right? So I did the free
Okay.
coaching session, and you told me
Okay.
that I wanted to do too many things at once, and that I need to
Oh, that
focus.
sounds like me.
Because I wanted to do a podcast, I wanted to get a promotion, make more money, start a business, like all the things. And you
Hmm.
tell me I needed to focus. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm focusing on earning more money because if I can earn more money, then I can do more things, right? And
Yes.
so I did your free session, and then you offered your first cohort of coaching. I did that and invested in myself to do that. And that put me in a room around a whole bunch of boss babes, wonderful women working at the Googles, the Microsofts, all the things. And when one of the sessions was like, someone said, "Oh yeah, my salary requirements is 275 a year." I was like, "Oh, my aim is way too low, way too low." I was barely making 40K that year. I think I made 50K with two jobs. So that told you
Hmm.
everything you needed to know. And so, yeah.
You had
And
two
then
jobs? I
I,
didn't know
I, I
that.
bombed an interview. Do you remember that?
Girl, now we're doing,
That was
let's
a
not
long
do pop
time ago.
quizzes.
No, but I had a recruiting interview with a
There was
major
never a dull moment.
retailer.
That's what I remember. There was never a
And
dull
I did
moment.
horrible. I like bombed it, and I was so
Okay.
disappointed. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like but I kept going, and then I
Hmm.
landed a role that paid double salary. Now you can pick up.
And that was a couple of years ago. And then was there a layoff somewhere in there?
90 days into that new role, got laid off.
Yes. And then you fired me as your coach. No, you didn't.
No, and then I came back to my support community and I was like, I don't know what to do. And you guys are like, take a minute, take a day, take a couple. I took like 2 days and then I got on LinkedIn and started all over again.
With the title now of recruiter or whatever the title was,
Hmm.
which, yeah, was what got you, you were able to then get another role because you already had that title, even though it was only 90 days, right?
Hmm.
And then what happened? This is a good story.
Yeah, and then, so I got laid off after 90 days with that role. That was the first time in my life I ever like could work one job and that covered all my expenses, like all the things, right? And I like just had made it and I had to start back over. So I started back over,
Hmm.
started interviewing all the things. I had two opportunities. So my boss at that previous company had gotten laid off 2 weeks after me. She circled the block because I was such a great employee and wanted to bring me back on to her new
Yep.
company that she had just got a promotion or a role in as the director of talent acquisition. And so um, I had that option on the table, but it would have been starting off as a contractor. My negotiation power was limited because she knew what I made previously.
Mm,
So she only was offering 2K more.
mm.
And then it kind of was like, a little bit of bad juju because the person that she was replacing in the role didn't know they were getting fired. So even though it was a light lift,
Oh, so you would have come in to someone who was getting fired and
well,
taken their
she was
job.
replacing the head who was getting fired and they didn't know yet.
Mm,
So when she brought me on, like was going to bring me on, I only had to interview once, but it would have been contractor
mm,
because she needed to get in, get her feet wet, and then transfer me to perm. And I just didn't know what that would look like. and
mm.
and my negotiation power was limited. So then I had this other opportunity on the table, and it was working for a nonprofit doing amazing work, like great mission, and I was able to negotiate a 12K bump.
From what you were making at the other firm that laid you off.
Yes,
Amazing. Mwah, chef's kiss. Okay, but bring it. Now we're here today, and now you are angling for promotion.
yes. So
Is that
fast
right?
forward 2.5 years.
Hmm.
I am now up. Well, the caveat to this whole story is that I am currently interviewing and have gone through the final rounds of interviews for this director level role. I started out as a manager. So, in the
Okay.
midst of interviewing for this director level role, I get notified that I got a promotion to be senior manager. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, so we're just getting promotions before the second promotion. Two promotions in 1 month. Like, who could ask
So
for
this would
more?
have been two steps up because at your firm, it's like you're what, a manager now and then senior and then director?
No, so it's like
Okay.
it's like levels of creativity. So,
Listen, a lot of places are like that. It can be good
so depending
for,
on what team you're on,
yeah.
it could be manager, senior manager, associate director, director, senior director. And this is a director role. Not every team has a senior manager level or an associate director level.
Okay.
So I'm going from what I thought was a manager to a director, but now it's senior manager to director.
Okay. Got it. And so that promotion went through when?
So I just went through the final rounds of interviews. So we are putting and manifesting that I get the
Okay.
promotion and just preparing for that negotiation conversation.
Oh, to clarify, I meant the promotion that you found out about while you were interviewing.
Oh, that one went into effect at the end of January.
Okay, and you've already been in the so you've been interviewing to be on the same team, but take that director role.
Yes.
That's
And the good
interesting.
news is that I've already stepped up in that position because we were short
Mm,
staffed. So
mm,
there was an expectation to do that role prior to me going out. I had a baby going out on leave.
hmm.
Like, hey, we need you to step up here. Okay, I'll step up. Then I came back from leave and continued in that same vein, leading partnerships because we were still short staffed. And then we were able to,
Mm.
like, a couple months after that, bring on team members, help train them, transition them, and then go back to my normal role.
Okay, alrighty. So, heading into this internal role, you're hoping you'll get an offer. And your question is, how do I negotiate more?
Right, because I've done a little bit of research as it pertains to like previous employees or like people who may have been in the role on the team and know like what the salary was around. Um,
Reading between the lines, that means that you asked other people, right? What they were earning.
Correct.
I love that. I know that's just perfect. And hi to
Yeah.
everybody who's tuning in online. I see Anna's in the chat right now. Hi, Anna. If you're here, tune in, say hello. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I asked and I have like a general understanding of what the role would start at, but no clear
Okay.
concrete information.
And how far apart is that from what you're earning now?
It's like a 15K or more
Oh,
bump.
well, it's not terrible. It's not that much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like a 50K bump. I know
No.
it's quick
Yeah,
math,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
do you know what the percentage is? Like what percentage raise that might be?
I can do the math really quick.
If it's less
So,
than 15%,
so
you
let's
can just say
see.
that. You ain't got to put all your business out there. But if it's less than 15, and certainly if it's less than 10, there's usually like that much wiggle room in a compensation budget.
Okay.
That's why
So
I'm
it would
asking.
be about starting around 15% bump and more,
Oh, okay.
depending on
Gotcha.
where I land in that range. But that's assuming that's the starting range.
Second question. When you were promoted in January, did you get a bump then?
Yes, 6% from where I was previously. Well, because there was a two and a
Okay.
half percent annual and
Mm,
then 6% on top of that. So technically 8.5.
okay.
And
Okay.
then
Gotcha.
now this will be an additional 15.
If you get what you want, right?
Well, I mean, it's like, should I even see? This is where the anxiety and all the things come in because it's like,
No, ask the question.
can I
Should you
even
even ask?
that audacious to like want another 15%? Should I take the 10% if they've lowered the range? Like, where do I come in at? That's where I'm trying to like, that's what I need you for to like
Mm-hmm.
help me with this confidence. And then it's like,
Well, it's interesting because so yesterday's lunch and level up was Lakeisha, and Lakeisha is also in a situation where she is at her current firm. She has taken on a new role, and they have said this is a lateral move, so no raise for you. Here's your 3% annual inflation, whatever. And she's a little bit, stuck at that, and she knows that she should be making more. And in your situation, it's you have a bit more going for you, which is that you were recently promoted. They love you. You've been doing the job already, right? They really like you. You've been there for 2.5 years, right? Something like that. And I mean, listen, nothing is going to give you as much leverage as a competing offer that you can put in front of them, like cold hard fact. I have been offered, let's say it's 120 is what you're aiming for. I've been offered 120 at this firm. I would love to stay here, but can you match can you match me at the compensation? And then it's an easy decision. I'll happy to stay.
mhm.
However, your market research is still completely, I mean, and by market research, getting that information from former colleagues and kind of looking at the job market, other comparable titles. And have you done any work to kind of see what other ranges are online, or has this job even posted online, and do they have a range listed with the job description?
They did not have a range listed, but they did post externally.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So failing that, I
And
would say
then
you
think
can.
about nonprofit sector as well, because that's always the caveat is always like, or the understanding is that you're not ever going to get industry standard rates in
But see, they
nonprofit.
benefit from that.
Hmm.
Do you know how I feel about nonprofits? I feel like I've said it a lot, but nonprofits to me are the fact that it's a nonprofit. I don't recommend anyone negotiates any differently for a nonprofit versus a for-profit, because if you look at the nuts and bolts of it, they are the same. Like the tax structure is different, right? There's tax benefits as a non. Oh shit, there's tax benefits for for-profits too. They're very similar, right? Talk about how much taxes has Amazon paid. Jeff Bezos, $0. Let's just go buy more Amazon trucks, and that'll decrease our taxable income. I digress. Nonprofits do get away in the same way that I think government jobs, teachers, even like healthcare jobs to a certain extent get away with this sense of like moral compensation. Like, you're doing good work here. We're a nonprofit. So, and they have this aura, and then this myth kind of proliferates about there's not that much budget, and oh, da da da, like, we can't afford to pay certain things. Come work for us and feel good about yourself. But the thing is, they can be just as toxic as regular jobs. They can be disorganized. They can be capitalistic. They got to raise money, right? So I just, not to harp on that too much, but I just want to change mindset around what nonprofits can afford. And at the end of the day, they're like any other company. And if they really want to keep talent, they'll keep talent. And even if they have to post their, salaries to, what's that document called that nonprofits have to file?
Oh, I don't know what the name of it. I know
Some
it's like
tax form.
an annual report, some type of publish.
Yeah, they may have like, they may need to post that and whatnot, but I'm just saying, I want you to walk in there not thinking about it's a nonprofit. They probably can't afford this, and just go in based on what you're worth, you know? Um, so based on what you've learned so far, and oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Any data research into comparable roles, like in the same industry? Have you looked on Glassdoor or other job listings?
I don't know.
You doing it right now?
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's do it.
The hard
Because
part too is that even though it would be a director position, it's still an individual contributor.
okay, I'm not
So
mad
it's
at
not
that.
like a team.
Some people would say that's great.
Yeah, many people. The average salary would be that 15% bump.
Okay. So you feel like you're in the right, yeah, the right marketplace. And so far in your interviews, has compensation come up?
No.
So you're expecting what, like when you get the offer, we'll just manifest that then you'll have a conversation about comp.
Right.
Okay. And at that point, and this is your boss that you're interviewing with?
One of them.
One of them.
So
I mean,
I
you're
reviewed, let me think. I did phone screen with the TA of the company. Then I
okay.
did a interview with my boss, who I work with
Okay.
closely. And then I did a panel interview with some peers, some who I may have worked with and some who I may have not. And then the last round was with my boss's boss, who equally knows me.
Okay. You went through the ringer.
Hmm.
And how
And
much
many
time
people
just
did.
amazing. I'm not really opposed to asking about compensation during the interview process, especially if you're an external candidate. I don't like the feeling of waiting until the final offer to find out what compensation. The fact of the matter is, I think that they will go low in terms of the pay raise. You just got one, they'll use that as
That's what I'm
justification.
expecting.
Now I need you to go in with your counter argument, which is this is a new role. I've already been doing it for free for how many months now?
At least like five, six.
Oh, Lord. So for half a year, I have been doing the work of a director. I appreciate the title change, and that's wonderful. But to fully step into this role and feel confident that I'm being paid my market value and that I am, that I'm being valued equitable to what other companies or other organizations pay at this level, I was expecting, or I am expecting, a fair market rate, which based on my research is 115 to 120 or whatever you want to say.
Hmm.
And if they, you know, at that point you want to role play a little bit, like, do you
Yeah.
want
That's my
to
favorite.
pretend?
Let's
Who do you want to
practice.
be? Do you want to be you, or do you want to be the
I
I
want to
don't
be
know.
the employer.
You want to be the employer. Okay.
You to be me.
All right. I'm adorable. My name is Raye. Everyone loves me. Hi. Just fitting in your zone. Getting in the vibe. All right. So, how would it be? Would it be a phone call? Zoom like this?
Yes,
Are you in
maybe.
person or remote?
Well, I'm remote. I work from home, but I think, honestly, I think they're gonna email me and maybe present it in a call. But I
Okay.
think they'll try to like email first. You know, like let's just
Really?
get
Okay.
out
I'm
there.
not
And,
not mad at that. Then,
yeah.
okay, so you get the email. So let's pretend. Okay, I'm Ray, and I've just gotten this email, and it's like,
From
Ray,
TA.
congratulations.
Hmm.
What's that?
It's probably going to come from talent acquisition.
Right, and it's going to say, congratulations. We are happy to inform you that you have been selected. I don't know what the language is. You've gotten the job.
Hmm.
See offer details below,
Hmm.
and then it will say, let's say they, let's say it's no increase. Let's say they're like, we just gave you a raise. Here's your same salary. If that's the case, I'm pissed. I'm Ray and I'm pissed because like not y'all trying to get a steep discount. The thing is, as if they're looking at external candidates, which they likely are, right? They posted it externally. If they're looking at external candidates, it's quite possible that those external candidates are going to be more expensive than you are because they are coming from other companies. And at that point, your company knows what you're making. Your company doesn't know what they're making. And I'm not saying that they would be going for you because you are the more affordable option. I'm sure they are choosing you because, or sorry, choosing me because I'm amazing. But that just tells you off jump that they are trying to skate by without paying the proper market rate. So if that's an email, I'm stewing, I'm stewing, and then I'm replying and I'm going to
What
ask
would be
for
the time frame?
time frame. Oh, for how long I'm going to stew?
Hmm.
10 minutes.
Oh.
Not long, because all you're going to do now is I will send an email back and say, thank you so much. I am thrilled. How quickly can we get on a phone call to discuss the offer?
Mm,
And, or you can say that however you want to take. I
yeah.
prefer to do a compensation negotiation by phone. I think that you're able to, I'm all about vibes, right? And when you come into a conversation with like the right energy, when you're coming to them, and this is where as women we have to like we do get penalized for being seen as power hungry, money hungry, ambitious, opportunistic. And I believe in a phone call you're able to get your tone as, and I, it shouldn't be this way, but this is the reality. I believe that we're able to be really intentional with our tone and how we are perceived. You can be the same Ray that they know and that they, feel comfortable with, but you can still get to the point of what you want, which is I'm still Ray, I'm still this. And by the way, the offer to me is low compared to the market research I've done to better understand the value of this role. And I want to know, is it possible that you can meet me at the market range, which is 115 to 120? You've got them on the phone at that point. We're not really role playing anymore. Should we go into role play?
Yeah, but one
Okay.
caveat that you can use as a tool in your toolkit is that I'm pretty sure my peers in the same position would be making more. So maybe
Your
that is that
peers in the same position. So your
is
current colleagues and other.
like on the same team, director level colleagues. So I don't know how you would be able to pull that information in, but go ahead.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm.
I wouldn't. Like
Okay.
at this point, not that there's anything wrong with you getting that information from current employees. There's nothing wrong with that, but I
And
feel
I'm not
like
confirming or denying if I got that information.
no, you're going to say based on my own research from trusted sources as well as general market research, like, and you can have some examples, like you can pull up that Glassdoor as an example. You can pull up comparable job titles, like literally job descriptions. They have to publish salary ranges in other states. So New York, I know that you're in the South, and they may, right, or no, you're back up in the,
I'm in Pennsylvania.
that's right, Pennsylvania. So even better because New York is not that far, so they can't pull the whole, well, that's New York. But you could get a couple of salaries and have that as your market research plus Glassdoor and just have it in your back pocket in case they ask to see it, which I don't know if they will or not. But
Hmm.
anyway, that. And the reason I'm like being a bit cautious there is because it goes back to like the tone and the feeling. You, at least in my experience, you get more flies with honey in a way, and you don't want to put them on like the defensive and start making them feel paranoid about, well, who she's spoken to. Was it so and so? Was it so and so? And also, there may be, not that I'm saying it's justifiable, there may be different circumstances to why those colleagues are earning a certain amount. And if you bring them up, then it's very easy for them to just like, dismiss that with like a couple of excuses. Oh, so and so's been here longer. Oh, so and so, you know, excuse me, it's a unique case. They came from a different company. They have this many years of experience. They have this certification. And then they start like,
Hmm.
like nitpicking. And next thing you know, you haven't really gotten anywhere. So I would keep it broad.
So based on
That's
the
what I'll
market.
say.
Okay, let's have the conversation.
Okay. So this is the call that you get on the phone after the offer comes through email. Okay. Hey, George. You're
Georgia.
George.
Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah.
Hi, Raye. How are you doing?
Damn. I was today years old when I knew you pronounced it Dajare.
I think I told you on that first free session and it never came up again.
Well, it's always Ray to
Like, you
me
call me
because
Raye.
we're
Call me
cool like that. It's Ray. Okay. All right. Hey, it's so listen, I'm so excited. I can't believe it. I can't wait. I've been doing this job for 6 months. It just feels so right to me. I mean, what was the feedback from the team from the interview process?
The team had nothing but great things to say about you. They said that, you're a great contributor on the team already. You already have experience being successful within that role and those responsibilities. And they're just super, super excited to like have you join within this new capacity.
Whew, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm so passionate about the work. I mean, I'm glad to hear that they have acknowledged and seen how hard I've been working for the past, 5, 6 months. And this just feels like such a great next step for me. Yeah, I would love to accept. But before I get there, I want to chat about the offer. So I saw the offer come through and we're going to assume that we're keeping the compensations the same. Okay. So I have to admit, I was a little bit surprised and taken aback by the compensation offer. For the level of work that I'd be doing in this role, and the fact that already been doing it for 5, 6 months now, and honestly, based on the market research that I've done for a director level position in our field at comparable organizations in comparable roles, this is far below the market rate for this position. And with all due respect, like I am so excited for this role. I want to take it on. I want to keep this momentum going, but I don't really feel settled. I don't really feel good about, moving forward if I don't feel like I am being paid commensurate with my market rate. So is there anything you can do to get me closer to the market range, which based on my research is about 115 to 120?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much
So
for,
let's say yes. Thank you. Bye. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. You could do
yeah,
that. Depends on your rapport.
for
I like
that.
cracking a joke.
So yeah, we can definitely take it back to the team and see, what is possible based on the budget and so forth, and I can get back to you. I can
Okay,
almost
yeah, I
guarantee
really
there will be a
appreciate.
response.
You'll get back to you, and then they'll go do 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 do. Do you think in that case, I was expecting you to almost push back and say, well, given the fact that you were recently promoted, we thought that keeping you at this level was fair for now, and then we could look at potentially increasing that, getting you closer to that, your goal, your target compensation goal, maybe in a year.
So if they said that, what would you say?
That's okay. Well, now I'm playing both roles. That's fine. I'm used to it. I would say I completely understand. And honestly, I was thrilled yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Well, I don't want to say surprised. I
Oh,
was really
surprised.
pleased. You,
I was
you were
actually
surprised?
surprised. Yes,
You
like,
were?
oh, really? Oh,
I
okay.
was actually, yeah, I was surprised and pleasantly so that I received that promotion in January. But the fact of the matter is that I have been doing the director level position responsibilities and duties for 5 months now. And so, leaving aside the recent promotion, I think bringing me up to that director level title and compensation, that was always been my long term goal. I feel like it is what that's how I should be valued. And I think it absolutely reflects the amount of goodwill that I've had, showing up and putting my all into this role for the last 5 months, even though I was, doing the work of an individual a couple of levels and certainly a higher compensation level than I am. And to wait a year, it just doesn't feel like that really is reflecting the value I've already brought and the value I'll continue to bring for the next year.
Okay, well, we'll take that back to the team and I'll get back to you.
Okay. You look good. Did you do something with your hair? Is this different?
Oh, yeah,
Did you get
highlight.
your teeth whitened? How are the kids? You want to put a picture of your baby up in the background? Just,
I know, like, so yeah, so
mother.
I'm prepared to like, reiterate value contributed and future value that is
Hmm.
clear, but I'm still like, just a little antsy about it. Like, what's gonna
It's a good
happen?
problem to have.
I
It's a
agree.
good problem to have. Yeah.
I agree. Like, who gets multiple promotions within one quarter? Like,
Hmm. Greedy,
someone
greedy
who,
Ray.
someone who's catching up, someone who's catching up to
I
where
think you've done so well for yourself. I really do. I'm trying to think of other
scenario.
potential outcomes. So, I mean, how do you feel about the responding to an email asking for a phone call? Do you think they'll do that?
I'm hoping.
They better. I just think it's so much better on the phone,
Yeah. I
especially
mean,
when you
you
have.
think, because usually offers are given on the phone, now that I think about it. They usually call
Hmm.
like, "Hey, just letting you know that we would like to extend the offer.
Yeah.
Here's now. What do you think as far as negotiations of other items within the benefits package? So
Oh, good call. What else do you have going on there? What else I got?
PTO.
Okay. What PTO do you have, like a
I
certain
think right
number of
now
days
I'm at
now?
like 4 weeks right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if that'll bump or not, but just I don't know if that's something to include if they like don't come all the way with the salary. Should we talk one-time bonuses, like all that?
So when you got your promotion, did your annual target bonus, did
We
the
don't have
percentage
annual
change?
target bonus.
Oh, you don't. Okay.
Mm-mm.
No bonus at all? Okay.
I know, like thinking about negotiations from the external side of things, you can like bring those items in. So I just didn't know from an internal stance, like what can
Well,
you?
you have a leg up here because you already know what packages look like, right? I mean, also you're in the recruiting space. Do you have line of sight into other candidates' offers
No,
at all? No.
mm,
Okay. I mean, not candidates for this role, but in general.
no,
So, compensation package, I think you have to decide what's your end goal. I think for you it's the cash, right? Like you want the when you think of total compensation and you're thinking of 115 base is what you're thinking, right?
hmm
So I would make that clear. Now, they don't offer annual bonuses, so I don't know how they would make anything up with a bonus. They could do potentially a spot bonus. Have you done that? Have they done that before? Have you heard about other people getting?
they've done it for like performance evaluation type situations and like that. So
Okay.
that's why I thought maybe that could be a potential.
Oh, that's good. So you don't have like a set percentage that you are on target to earn, like in terms of a bonus, but they are known to do it if they're a good performer and there's money in the bank for that. Okay, yeah, I mean they could make up any gap. Like so, let's say they're a hard line, like no, this is the salary approved for the role for this year, which to me doesn't make any sense because if they were trying to hire someone outside, they would have to have a budget big enough to meet that market rate, you know?
Right.
So, but
Mhm.
anyway, let's just say they're like, no, this is the final. Then you could say, then you could, yes, you could counter and ask for a one time bonus to close the gap. And then let's revisit it in, you know, the next review cycle and
And
see
do
if you
you
could
get
make it.
that in writing, like the whole revisit review cycle piece, or do you just good faith it?
In writing, I'm trying to think if they could put that in writing. Yeah, you could. So they probably won't put it in the email or your employee contract, but you could get them to say it in an email. You could be like, "Well, does this all? Can I just wanted to clarify? I will be able to like. There's an understanding that next review cycle compensation will be a compensation increase, a market rate increase rather. A market rate increase will be in on the table."
Mm,
Or up for discussion, then you can have them say that in email.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see how it goes. What happens? I'm expecting to hear something maybe in a week or so.
I could use a good negotiation outcome. You've been good to me so far. You always have like a nice update. Even when you're down, you're up at the end of the day, you know?
At the end of the
And
day, when you're down, you're still up.
In a market like this, I just want other people to know that it's still possible to negotiate. And I think the challenge is, like you said, it's that nerves. It's, do I have the audacity? Should I be asking for this? But hell yes. I mean, based on your own research, what you're earning now is not the market rate for the job you will be doing.
Mhm.
And so what if you're not managing people? The level of expectation, the visibility within the company, the demand for your role, like that should be what comes to the forefront, not how many people are you managing. Um, yeah, good luck, girly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming to my luncheon live. What do I call this? Luncheon level up. Not my luncheon live. All right. To anyone who's tuning in online, I'm going to be dropping a link. I decided once a month I'm dropping a link, and there's going to be free 30-minute sessions. So you got to make sure you're on my emailing list, my email list. You can go to if you're on Instagram, you can go to my profile and get on my mailing list there by downloading the free Career Clarity Workbook, which is awesome. Or you can just go to mandymoney.com and sign up to the email that way. I'm going to post a link right here so that you guys can find that. mandymoney.com. There you go. So you can click it. And thank y'all for tuning in. And Raye, thank you for joining me. Good luck, girl. I'm so
Thank
excited.
you. Have a good
All right.
one. Bye.
No, you stay there.